Last 10 meetings versus the Giants. Giants 0-6 this season versus teams currently over 500, 4-3 versus everybody else. Cowboys win it 21-6. 3 straight weeks with 4 takeaways for the Cowboys. First time they've done that since 1994. They're 4-0 versus NFC East opponents this season. 10th win of the season. The over hits on their preseason win total of 9. That was at Caesars Sportsbook at -130. Giants loss means the best the Giants can do is push on their preseason win total of 7. You look at Dak Prescott. I mean, we've talked about Dak's performance fantasy-wise, but when you look at him versus the Giants against the spread, I mean, he's been a lock.
He has been a lock, so hopefully they get to play the Giants, the schedule them more than just twice a year. But I think, look, Pete, you talked about this, the pass rush for the Cowboys. They become a defensive team. You look at Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper. It's the defense that's leading the way and going to be the reason why they're going to be a strong playoff contender. If the offense ever gets going, this could be the best team in the NFL. But right now, the offense is struggling. Dak is struggling. Run game was okay today, but certainly not where you think of for the Cowboys taking on a Giants team that's been so bad against the run. So they got to still pick things up offensively. Things are not solved for the Cowboys, but nice for them to get the win.
Yeah, I think that little period where they didn't have the receivers and they had COVID and injuries that kind of set the offense back. They need to get back into a rhythm. But what didn't happen today, by the way, was just average.
Okay, let's talk about this Cowboys-Giants result. A good win here for the Cowboys. Obviously, from the Giants, I mean, when we talk about the Giants, when we were looking at the game, we were watching the game, and we were looking at the running back situation, it stood out that Tony Pollard's the leading guy for Dallas. Devontae Booker's the leading guy for the Giants. Ezekiel versus Saquon would be the headliner. If it was, 2018, 2019 maybe? What is it with both of these running backs, Jamie, that they've been so good, but now they just can't seem to find consistency? Is it injuries? Is it the design of the offense?
I mean, it's hard to say injuries for Zeke at this point because everything coming into the week, coming into the game, this was his best week of practice, that he felt good. You heard beat writers saying he's looked the best in practice. Tony Pollard, who's playing through a torn plantar fascia in his foot, looked more explosive today. So I don't know if it's, they're trying to make sure Zeke is getting to the postseason and going to be 100% there. For fantasy, thankfully, he scored. He got you 3 catches, but it's been a continuing story every week that the second guy looks better. The production hasn't always been better for the second guy, but today it was. Not in terms of the fantasy production, but 12 for 74 is a much better stat line for Tony Pollard than it is for Ezekiel Elliott. So thankfully for them, they have a good depth. They have good depth in their backfield, but right now the star is not getting the job done. Don't
draft running backs in the top 10. There's this is Exhibit A. You do not draft running backs.
You're going back 8 years at this point.
You don't draft them. You don't draft them in the top 10.
You can't critique this team. They've drafted so well.
Who?
The Cowboys.
But you don't draft a running back in the top 10.
You're right.
You just don't.
What about the Giants, Pete? I mean, they can push on their season.
Don't draft the running back in the top 10.
Their preseason win total of 7. Are you disappointed in this performance? Were you expecting more from the Giants this season overall, or are they right where you thought they would?
Well, you don't have your quarterback, too. I mean, he's been down, and that sets you back. They've had a ton of injuries this year, a ton. This team has been bombed by injuries. You start a game with Mike Glennon at quarterback, you're not really expecting to win against a good Dallas team. So this one isn't disappointing. The season's disappointing because of all the injuries. I mean, everybody, how many times have they played where they didn't have any guys to throw to, and the quarterback's down, the running back's down? Everybody's hurt.
You still don't know what Daniel Jones is.
No.
It's 3 years in, you don't know what he is. You have no idea what Kadarius Toney is at this point.
No.
You know that there's going to be a change at the top in the general manager. There might be a change at the top at the quarterback spot. The defense,
coach, you mean?
Maybe the coach and quarterback.
Right.
The coaching situation, clearly, they have the draft capital to be a player, to go get a Russell Wilson, to go get maybe, move up in the draft to get, number 1 overall pick if they so decide to go get the quarterback.
Not really a quarterback there.
Right, but I'm saying, though, they have the ability to do it because of the draft capital that they have. So this is going to be an entirely different looking team next year. Again, general manager, coach, potentially quarterback. A lot's going to look different for the Giants. And who knows, maybe Saquon Barkley's not the lead guy in the backfield based on what we're seeing, how he's struggling to end the season.
So perhaps things looking up for the Giants as we head towards 2022, 2021.
Can't be any worse.
Pretty much at this point, yeah, it can't be any worse. Okay,
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.